What's up, guys? Genesis Brule here, and I am making this commentary to address several things. As many of you may know, yesterday there was a huge shitstorm on Genesis's latest upload because of a French member leaving Genesis and alleging that we are racist and that I didn't respect him. So I am going to address several things about Fayan, Genesis, and the French Revolution from yesterday. First things first, this is the story from my point of view. I woke up and I saw Sor Ollie tweeting a picture of Fayan messaging him on Xbox, asking him to add him. Several other Sor members replied to that tweet and were saying in the Sor chat that they got similar messages from Fayan, and to be honest, I didn't even think it was actually him. I figured it was a silvered gamertag, Genesis Fayan with one N, from when he left Genesis to join Obey, but it turned out to be him. Shortly after I got on Skype, Fayan began messaging me, complaining about Ollie, exposing him, and trying to get me to talk to Ollie and tell him how wrong he was for doing this. I didn't reply. He then began to try to start a commotion in the Genesis chat, saying how mean Ollie was for tweeting the picture and nobody took him seriously. Most of you have seen the conversation between me and Fayan in the chat where I called him a fanboy. I do apologize for being harsh to him, but later in the commentary I'll address why my fuse was so short with Fayan. I then proceeded to call Fayan a dumbass when he said something along the lines of, "I will never understand the teenage American mind," or something like that, because he was actually referring to Ollie. And for clarification, I said this because Ollie was British and not American. Nowhere in the chat did I say anything derogatory or nearly, even close to being offensive to Fayan about being French or anything close to racism. During the argument, someone in the chat made the Genesis chat picture a French flag burning, which is pretty fucked up for lack of a better word, but I immediately changed it when I saw it, and I kicked the player who did it. But after 700 dislikes and being called a racist and the death threats, I figured it didn't really matter if I let the player stay or not, and I let him stay in Genesis. But yeah, sorry, back to the chat. Fayan then decided to demand respect, and I told him to shut up, which then prompted him to leave Genesis and make a huge fuss. This is the side of the story that most of you haven't heard. Fayan then sent a message to all of his friends on Xbox saying, "Left this shitty fucking team, fuck off Genesis, racist and unrespectful." And here's a gaiazo of it. And soon after, two of Fayan's friends, Sean and Reef, who are also French, were forced to leave Genesis by other French people because they were getting threats because all the French people were so angry that me and Genesis were so racist. Apparently Fayan freaked out and started talking about Genesis being racist to all of his friends on Skype, and shortly after I was tweeted pictures of a chat with Fayan, Reef, Dardane, and other French people, actually over 500 French people, in a chat called French Power. And this chat had the sole purpose of disliking Genesis's and my videos. And here's a gaiazo of the chat. So yeah, Rig's 6-minute montage on Genesis, which was the latest upload, quickly got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dislikes for absolutely no reason related to him. I felt so bad for him. And his montage definitely deserved way more likes than it got, and now it has almost the same amount of dislikes as it has likes. I think it has like 1,000 dislikes, 1,200 likes. But if you want to check it out and drop a like to help out, I'll leave a link in the description to his montage. He definitely deserves more recognition for that montage. It was crazy. But yeah, Fayan, he uploaded a video of my conversation with him saying that he didn't get the French people to hate on Rig's montage. But in the video, he didn't tell anyone to go like it. He just brought Genesis's videos more hate. I asked him to take the video down and told him that he was making an ass of himself, making all this commotion about such a small thing. To which he replied, "You act like child, Brule, and you get treated like a child," or something. And he uploaded another video which got Genesis even more hate. So now I'm literally receiving death threats from French people and Americans because the story has been so blown out of proportion that me telling Fayan to shut up has somehow warped into me hating American black people. It seriously makes no sense. I have absolutely no problem with anybody of any nationality, and for the record, Genesis has members from America, Britain, Sweden, France, Norway, Brazil, all these places all over the world, as well as black people, white people, Nigerican people and Asian people, and I don't even know. They're probably Indians that just haven't even said anything. Like, we're not racist. We don't give a shit. I honestly don't care that much about getting dislikes on my own videos, but getting Genesis channel's videos disliked and Riggs montage dislikes is just retarded. Like, I'll admit the chat picture being a burning French flag was completely wrong, but does that really warrant 1,000 dislikes on somebody's 6-minute montage that he worked so fucking hard on? Like, honestly, it just makes people look so stupid for going along with it. But, yeah, to completely understand my point of view and why I was so taken aback by Fayan asking Ollie to add him on Xbox and why I thought it was so embarrassing, you have to understand my backstory with Fayan and my interactions and friendships with him. I found Fayan when he had less than 1,000 subs, and he was in a clan called Riot. I asked him to join the day Genesis started, and he turned Genesis down, which was completely understandable. We had no roster, and it was like a leap of faith, but he later messaged me again saying that he wanted to join, and I let him in. He quickly gained a lot of subs, and he was thrown into a big clan and given a lot of attention really quickly, so I guess it could have been culture shock or something. Excuse me. But yeah, he had his He had his introduction uploaded to Genesis and was in for probably a month until he just randomly left for Obey, and he had like 5K at that point, which was pretty lame because we pretty much found him and raised him as our own. But he came back pretty soon, apologizing, and we let him back in, and he said that he'd quote unquote stay loyal to Genesis, and which I didn't tell him to do, and he said that he'd never leave even for Soar or FaZe. Obviously, I was pretty happy to hear that. But as time went on, Fayan's broken English made him a target for laughter in the Genesis chat. Bear in mind that the Genesis chat is normally people joking around and just making fun of each other in good spirits, and people can usually sense the sarcasm, but not Fayan, since English isn't his first language. I'd always have to stick up for Fayan and say how great the French were to keep him from quitting or leaving Genesis, and one time he got particularly emotional and left Genesis again because someone in a clan that he was managing, quote unquote, used him for likes and comments and were ungrateful about it or something. So I had to convince him not to quit and leave, and he stayed, and him and Reef had a dual ep, French Touch, which ended up being one of the most successful episodes on Genesis. So because of this success, we were actually planning on giving Fayan a controller for Genesis Player of the Month, which, if you watch this video, he tried to turn this into me bribing him to not join Soar with a controller, even though I know for a fact that Soar had no interest in recruiting him. But yeah, he threatened to quit a few more times for petty reasons, such as getting offended that someone was making fun of koala climbs on Shay's private match episode. He actually threatened to quit over that, and spraining his wrist doing an infinite fade. So it's pretty easy to tell that Fayan is overly sensitive, and yeah, to completely understand why I made fun of Fayan in the Genesis chat, you have to realize how many chances I've given Fayan. Fayan has 15K now. Like, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have had 15K if we didn't pick him up, but we definitely helped him get a lot of exposure, and saying that I treated Fayan poorly is just insane. Like, anybody in the Genesis chat can attest to this. Ollie told me that Fayan was actually, like, asking him to look at his clips and saying that Soar was his dream team and that he wished he could play with him, which kind of annoyed me because Fayan had left 3 times and I let him back in with a agreement that he would be loyal to Genesis. But yeah, what people don't understand is that messaging every member of Soar, asking them to add him, is embarrassing on my behalf. Even though it's not wrong, it's kind of, it just makes Genesis look like we just want Soar added. And I had to defend Fayan enough, like, as it was, between his 30-second koala climbs, his videos exposing people for saying that they could wrist twist faster than him. He actually uploaded a video called Cedar Exposed, where he wrist twist offed with him, and seeing half of Soar saying that he messaged them asking him to add him, for lack of a better word, is just straight up fanboyish. Like, it just made Fayan look embarrassing. And what Fayan and most players don't understand is that if Soar is interested in you, like, spamming the entire Soar roster to add you is a terrible way of befriending them. Like, Soar leaders watch Genesis's videos, and they ask players who they're interested in to show them clips, and it's not the other way around. So, yeah, although I was really short with Fayan and I kind of snapped on him, which I do apologize for, what he did is completely out of line. He straight up got his own team, which he told me numerous times was his home and his favorite team ever. Thousands and thousands of dislikes. And he made 2 videos about it, which he refused to take. He completely refuses to take them down. I've asked him 3 times on YouTube, and he says no. And all this essentially because I called him a fanboy and told him to shut up in the Genesis chat. I've been called a terrible leader hundreds of times over the past few days in the comments of my videos, on Genesis's videos, by people who don't know the whole story, and to be honest, I don't really care. Although I have a reputation of being a dick, a lot of Genesis people can testify that I was extremely patient with Fayan, and that I'm not a bad leader. And Genesis is still doing pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up with a final thought for you guys. What kind of leader is going to want someone in their clan who went through all these measures to get their own team so much hate, and making 2 videos about it, all because he couldn't handle the leader telling him to shut up? I guess all I can do is wish Fayan good luck in the future, and apologize to all the French people that I've offended. And please guys, just stop disliking Genesis's videos without reason. We're not racist, I'm not racist, and we respect our players. Thanks for listening, and have a great day, guys.